Okay, I think I'm all set. Yeah, I went to pull over my microphone, snagged the cord that my camera was connected to, and suddenly had a really nice shot of that wall. So I think I'm okay, but we'll have to wait till someone shows up and say, picture and sound look good. So anyway, yeah, Thrash Pondo here. I'm broadcasting live. At least it's live at the moment. It'll probably be a replay when you guys watch it. But do my traditional Sunday night Michigots. And usually someone's popped in by now, so it might be a really short show. I'm trying to figure out why there's a very small can of WD 40 on my kitchen table. And I'm fighting the urge to spray it on something because every time I find a can of WD 40, that's always the first thing I do is spray it on something. I love this smell. You know what WD 40 stands for? Water Displacement 40, because it was their 40th formula coming up with a chemical that would displace water. And the 40th was the charm, as I've always said. Rachel in the 28 is here. She says, bite my tongue. She says, hi. Zuplex is here, says, good evening, everyone. BK on the air is here and says, hey there. Good sun evening. Yes, a good sun evening to you too, by the way. And yes, terrible, terrible news about Mr. Stamp, by the way. Terrence Stamp has passed on. I know he was 92 years old, but it's still very sad. So heavy casualty there. And Tracy is here, says hi. And JC News is here, says yes, haw. And a yes, haw to you too. Actually, hee haw trivia is the trivia topic for tonight. So you are. I got to change these glasses. I'm using these cheapos that I keep here, and they're really not working. In case you wonder why I keep squinting. These aren't much better, but hopefully they'll be better. And I'm gonna. Well, that's a little better. They're not quite as aesthetic, but if you can't see, they're no good. Christopher is here. Says good evening, Bob. And I'm actually caught up. Neil before Zod. Yes, he played General Zod. He, of course, also played General Beck in Valkyrie. And, of course, as you know, I've gone over this on many occasions. Valkyrie is an amazingly cast film with one exception. Their casting of Mr. Cruz as Stauffenberg was a joke and not a particularly funny one. Everyone else is great. But yeah, Terrence Stamp played General Beck. He's the very, 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 very famously, he's the one he was going to take it upon himself to, shall we say, beat the executioners and do the job himself. I can't say what that's called, but you guys know where I'm going with this. He tried twice and was unsuccessful. And one of the generals at the time who was cleaning up the mess said to one of the young officers, help the old man. Ghoulish. But moving forward, Rachel says those look better on you, actually. These look better on me, actually. Thank you. Thank you. I'll go to wire frames from now on. I said no more wire frames. Ever. What was that from? Anzubuk says, how is the sales business going? It's going well. It was weird. It was weird. Friday was like such a slow day. And then right as we were wrapping things up on Friday, I got these two. I won't bore you with the details, by the way, but I got these like two very interesting customer service issues that I had to deal with. Bam, bam, and I had to borrow my manager on both of them, and they were both things that I had never actually seen before in the business. So I ended the last week on a bang. I'm going to try to start this one on a better bang. But thank you for asking, Zoop. And oh, by the way, Zoop, did you see my latest comic book retrospect? I had you in mind when I made it. It was my retrospect on the art of Richard Corbin. I was talking Richard Corbin with Atomic Snack Bar, and I pulled out a book and I actually did my Richard Corbin retrospect. So So please check it out and leave a comment. It did super poorly. I don't know what it was. I think there was some issue with copyright on it, so it didn't get the sort of mass shotgun mention that my videos normally get, which I try not to laugh at. But I mean, it did even worse than some of my other ones. So I'm not sure what happened, but Zoo, please check it out. You must be a fan of Richard Corbin, or at least know who he is. And oh, it's just saying turn off notifications. No, I don't want to turn off notifications. Leave me alone. I hate when a computer gets uppity. Oh, she says funny thrash. And Zibble says customers with flattened noses. No. Forget about it. Forget about it. And Zibble says, no, I did not. Well, then go do so. Not now. Not now. We need you now. But I received no notice. Yeah, I think because it's weird when I posted it. Normally I get the whole we're checking for copyright. And usually that clears up in a couple minutes and it posts. It was like hours, like the next morning, it was still saying we're checking for copyright. We're checking for copyright. I actually talked to Danny about it because I'm like I hadn't run into that before. He seemed to think every now and then YouTube will just flag you, but I don't know what happened. But I think because of that, notifications didn't go out because even a lot of my regulars, the only people I think who saw it were the ones who were constantly like hitting my channel, just looking to see what my new stuff is, which I do. That's how I found all the stuff I miss on Dave's. So yeah, Zoop. And by the way, everyone else, please. In fact, I mentioned it last Sunday, didn't I? Well, I'm mentioning it again. Please check out my Richard Corbin video because, like I say, it actually kind of hurt my brand. So I'm like, not my feelings. Those are rock solid, but my brand. Sister Sarah's here. Says hit that thumbs up, share out, comment after show, please, and thank you, Sister Sarah. Thank you, as always, and I hope you're feeling better. You were feeling very poorly last Thursday, and Chance is here. I know you're busted up about Terrence Stamp too, Chance. Welcome to the party. Oh, actually, as I read the comment now, rest in peace, Terrence Stamp, uncanny. And yes, Neil before Zod. That's an abbreviation. G, General Zod would be, yes. A lot of people saying hello to one another. Lance is here. Lance, how you doing? Says, hey, Thrash. Hey, Lance, welcome to the party. Ex parte in my case. And Wajimeen's here. It says, hello, everyone. And, John Doe is here. It says, let the battle begin. Yes, let the battle begin. Let's get it on. And Chance is saying hello to Tracy. And, by the way, do us a favor, mods. Give links to your channels and to Wajimeen's and Chance's, please. And BK if he's still on. BK too if he's still on. And I hope the weather's getting better where everyone else lives. It's supposed to break here and be kind of cooler this week. But it's really hot and muggy. It's kind of miserable. The funny thing is, I don't know if you folks have been watching the East Coast at all. I'm sure you people who live on the East Coast have. But Hurricane Erin is like a Category 5. For New Englanders who remember Hurricane Bob, that was a 1. It was almost a 2. It kind of got into 2 category, but there has to be sustained winds over a certain point for over a certain period of time. So even though it certainly broke 2 level, it never stayed at 2. So Hurricane Bob was classified a Hurricane 1, but this one's a 5. And it's supposedly not going to hit New England. I bought bottled water and D batteries and some stuff for my hurricane preparedness kit just to be safe. Keithy is here, says hello, everyone. Good to see and hear you all. Keithy, it is so good to see you, my bro, there. And say hello to Hooper the Hippo, or Hippo the Hooper, or Hoppa the Hippa, Hippa the Hoppy, Hop, Hop, Hippity Hop. Wasn't that an old Bible story? Hop, Hop, Hippity Hop. Anywho, so really no topic tonight. The trivia is Hee Haw Trivia, as promised, by the way. I hope Emily shows up because she was one of the main people who wanted it. Keith says hello back to everybody. That's the easiest way to do it. I'm always afraid I'm gonna miss somebody who says hello to me, and like so I'll just be like, hello Wedge, hello Tracy, hello Lance, but then I'm always afraid that I'm gonna miss somebody. So Lynn says Tug did not do a live stream today. No, he's still on vacation. He took the family somewhere, undisclosed, or at least he didn't bother to tell me. But they're having a family vacation, so I think he might have one next week, perhaps the week after. John Doe says message retracted, and a message retracted to you as well. And Chan says I paid a nice tribute to Danielle Spencer, title Little D on What's Happening Friday night on my live show. Lots of clips of her. Go see it after this. What he said. Yeah, she could have been that old. I think she was actually younger than I was. So yeah, that was very sad. But thank you for mentioning that. And yes, people, please do check that out. And Wedge says I may have to cheat off of Emily. LOL. And Chan says it's right at the start of the show. And Zublik says it was called Hurricane Sandy. No, the one I remember was Hurricane Bob. That was back in 91. But while we're on the subject, Zoop, Hurricane Aaron's going to get a lot closer to you than it is to us here on the Northeast. So, in fact, it's probably, last time I saw it was by Hispaniola. So it's kind of coming your way. I hope you're prepared and do well by it. Good luck. It's saying it's probably not going to really have impacts, but still, I apologize. Oh, speaking of the devil, look who's here. Emily's here and says, "Hey y'all," and hey to you too, Miss M. Good to see you as well. Welcome to the show, and yes, we're doing Hee-Haw tonight. What do you mean? Says, "Speak of the devil." Hello, Emily. Indeed, yeah, indeed. And Chan says Katrina was the killer. Yes, Katrina was a nasty, nasty one. And John says, I forgot the name of the hurricane, but New York City got hit with the eye of the storm. It was quite beautiful and eerily peaceful that day. I think that one was Sandy. I think that was the one Zoop is talking about, but I could not swear to it, but I think so. And he says, I was in Newport, Rhode Island for Hurricane Sandy. It was pretty ugly. And Emily says, good thing I showed up. Oh, Emily got a rose. Emily Rose. That was a hard. I took my wife to see the story of Emily Rose, and there were like a bunch of teenagers, and they all took it as a comedy. People were like laughing during all the supposedly scary scenes. It was kind of tragic. And Tab is here, says, happy Sunday, fun day to you. So glad you could make it. Zublik says, I was referring to the hurricane that hit New York City. Yeah, John. So yes, he was referring to Hurricane Sandy was the one that hit New York. So, and John Doe says the hurricane was in the late 80s. I remember, wasn't Hugo the one that hit in 89 that was really bad? And Zublik says, Aaron missed us. It is headed up the North Atlantic and missed the East Coast. Yes. So it actually has gone by you. Okay, good. Like I said last night, I haven't really been watching intently, but last I heard was Hispaniola, which I thought was Hispaniola is east of you guys, right? In Puerto Rico? Yeah. Of course it is. Yeah, it has to be. Southeast. And Emily says we had the eye of Hugo come through the Piedmont of North Carolina. Yeah, I knew Hugo's the one that hit the Carolinas. And Tim says, I've just heard that Terrence Stamp has passed away at the age of 87. I thought it was 92, but I'll take your word for it. He was General Zod in Superman, the Christopher Reeves films. Oh, by the way, help me out here. Wasn't he in one of the Bond films? I thought he was, but I didn't see it in his filmography. But help me out if you can. And John Doe says Sandy was bad. The water flooded a lot of New York. Oh, bummer. And Zublik says, Aaron, I don't know if it was an autocorrect. But I knew what you meant. It's Irene. And Chris says, I was in Nags Head, North Carolina for Sandy. No kidding. No kidding. But you were run for Hurricane Bob in New England because you're a Rhode Islander. And Indy Spouts is here. And Indy Spouts is here says, I've seen The Exorcism of Emily Rose 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I was going to say, because when I saw it, and again, as did all the teenagers in the room, it was being treated as a dark comedy. So I feel vindicated if you concur, because I felt terrible after I thought it was funny. And Tracy says Tristan Rogers from General Hospital died too. I never watched General Hospital, and I've apologized to Pat on several occasions. So when people mention General Hospital people, I'm kind of like, yang. But I do feel sorry for the person. Commiserations to Tristan's family. Rest in peace, Tristan. Emily says, Indy, most exorcism movies do get funnier the more often you see them. Oh, and howdy, boys. Indy says, and Lance Chafin says Terrence Stamp was in the Young Guns Regulars. Yeah, he played the guy who put the gang together. Oh, why can't I think of his name? I was just reading about that today too. But yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Tunstill, Tunsgill, Tungstill, Tungsten, Tongue-tied. Anyway, yeah, I'm sure one of you will correct me momentarily, and I can tell you which one it might be. Let's just see what we got going on here. Indy says, well, I might have been paraphrasing Beetlejuice there, Bob. You can paraphrase whatever you want, Indy. And Teb says, Thrash, would you please consider doing a What's Happening related trivia memory of Danielle Spencer D. Thomas, who recently passed away at the age of 60? That would be a very, very nice thing. I would enjoy doing that. I will have it next week. Let me write that down, and I'll try to write it in good handwriting, because I scribbled hee-haw when I was doing the hee-haw trivia, and it looked like I said the. And I'm like, who wants me to do the trivia? They had like 2 songs in the alternative nation sound of the mid-90s. But what's happening? What's happening, hot stuff? Was that racist? Anyway, Keithy says, when Linda Blair met Thrash, did she empty pea soup on him, just wondering, asking for a friend? No, but I freaked her out. And when you freak out Linda Blair, it doesn't do much for your karma, let me tell you. It was right when there were all those really, really big horror stories about like fans stalking celebrities and stuff like that. I should have known better. But Lynn says, Mr. Tunstall. Yes, thank you, Lynn. It was Mr. Tunstall. What happened was I was at this big convention for Suncoast, and there were about 40 celebrities there. She was, I think, doing signing for Anchor Bay, which was a big production company for home entertainment at the time. And I got up to her standing there. I'm like, I'm your biggest fan, or something like that. And she kind of looked at me like, and I went, in a healthy, non-threatening kind of way. It was cool, though, because I remembered a movie she was in that she didn't. We were talking horror films. And she goes, well, I've only been in 3. And I go, and she named them. And I go, well, then there's at least 4 because you forgot this one. And she's like, oh, yeah. But I had an indie moment there, you could say. But no, she did not throw up pea soup on me. John Doe says Exorcist will always be a classic. It certainly will. Yes, it is a great idea. Tracy Indy says, I missed part of the Bond question. Who are you asking about? I could have sworn Terrence Stamp was in a Bond film. I could have sworn he was. I don't know I must be thinking of somebody else. I must have a wire crossed. Well, it's like the story I told you about yours, mine, and ours. I lost an argument once. You're gonna find that hard to believe. I lost an argument once. This is back in the video store. Lady came in and she said, "Do you have yours, mine, and ours with Lucille Ball and Henry Fonda?" And I said, "Jason Robards." And I could have sworn, I would have sworn, I would in a court of law, I would put my hand on a Bible and said Jason Robards was the father, and you're mine and ours. I even remember him delivering some of the lines. And when I found the movie for her, she took the greatest pleasure going, "Mhm. See, see, Henry Fonda." And I'm like, "No, I was wrong. I was wrong." So, whoopsie. So, yeah, but for some reason, I had stuck in my head Terrence Stamp was in a Bond film. Maybe not as the Bond villain, but had some part in it. But uh, Christopher says, "Have to go. Got company coming." Oh, Christopher, thank you for stopping by. More than understand. There will be more. Take care, my friend. And Rachel says, "What's happening? Trivia would be awesome." And that's what we shall have. John Orchard's here. He says, "Hey, Pons. Hey, Johnny. How are you doing?" Oh, and by the way, confession time. The reason you haven't seen Aces and Eights, the review, is because when I had the whole problem where one of where my car and my wife's car died, we had to replace them all. So we could do the trade-ins. We had to empty all the stuff of our cars. Your book that I was reading in the car was lost. I only recently found it when I was in my garage this past weekend. So I will finish the book with all speed and do the review accordingly. But in case you're wondering what happened, now I can. I couldn't tell you I lost the book until I found it again. And Riddle says, yes, long duck dong, too funny. Very good catch. Good catch. And oh no, you guys do that thing where your mouse hooks on to the bar on the side of the comments and it gets stuck, so it starts like rolling around randomly. I'm sorry. Indy says Terrence Stamp has never been in a Bond film, but Terrence Young directed the first three Bond. Yeah. No, that's not it. I must be thinking of somebody else. 257 is here, says just finished at Pawns. I'll have to go back to find out what we just finished. But Johnny Orton said, "Hey Pawns," is where we came in. Teb says, "Thrash, what was your favorite episode of the ABC After School Special?" ABC After School Special, probably believe it or not, probably the one where the kid makes his own toothpaste. I mean, probably the best one that I remember was the girl who was a runaway and she meets the street kid and they have some adventures, but you find out that I believe she's diabetic and doesn't have her medicine. And that one got really dark. It was very well put together, but it was kind of depressing. But I love the one where the kid made his own toothpaste. I always thought that one was pretty damn slick. Because when I was a kid, I always wanted a get rich quick scheme. But of course, the moral of the story is the kid who makes his own toothpaste, things don't work out for them. And his father has to pay a bunch of fines. And spoiler alert, but yeah, probably that one. Wajimine says 16 candles. Yes, long duck dong. John Doe says the woman who played the mother had a cousin who worked at the MTA in New York City who I knew before he retired. Played the mother. Had a cousin who worked at the MTA. The mother in 16 candles, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, John. I kind of lost the thread. But either way, it's cool that you knew the person. And Cindy D is here. Cindy D says, "Rest in peace, Danielle D. Spencer. She had a great comic timing." Hello. Yeah, she certainly did. I was always amazed that she didn't go places, but she certainly did. 257 is here and says, "Hi guys, I was watching a movie on Tubi. It's called Strangers on a Train." I love Strangers on a Train. That is a great movie. That is a great movie. And I jumped again. Oh gosh, darn it. All right, I'm actually way behind. So I'm gonna have to kind of race through. A lot of people saying hello to each other. Just finished it. That's cool. I'm gonna skim through. Cindy says I missed the trivia. No, we're gonna do it probably in about 10 minutes. A lot of people telling her that it hasn't started yet. Indy told me that Terrence Stamp was never in the Bond movie. Emily says you might be thinking of Malcolm McDowell. He and Terrence favored each other. I don't think Malcolm McDowell was in a Bond film either. John Doe says, have you seen Eggs Extends? It's a good movie. Actually, I haven't. Neil before Zod. Rest in peace, Terrence Stamp. A lot of people saying hello. Johnny Archer said, that's awesome. No worries. Thank you. Thank you for your understanding. Cindy says, Thrash's mouse is in the house. LOL. Crazy mouse, louse in the house. Crazy moose, loose in the house. Crazy moose, loose in the house. And Indy says to Pod Bless, tell your autocorrect that kneeling in front of the wrong person. But it's an abbreviation. General Zod. I won't say it, though. I won't say it. I'm in enough trouble with him as it is. And 257 says 3,000 years later, a young science teacher dug up this lost treasure and found she was the heir to the secrets of Isis. Almighty Isis. I'm going to skip that one, Chance. I'm not going to read that one out loud. Lynn says Helen Hunt, the quarterback princess, is my favorite. I remember we read The Quarterback Princess when I was in like 5th grade. I never saw the adaptation, but I believe, was it Disney or Nickelodeon did Bella and the Bulldogs? And I remember telling my granddaughter, this is The Quarterback Princess. And she's like, what are you talking about, Quarterback Princess? And I go, this is a ripoff of this book I read as a kid. But yes, good catch with The Quarterback Princess. And if I remember correctly, now that I think of it, didn't Jodie Foster do one called Rookie of the Year where it was right before she did the Bad News Bears, and it's about a girl who wants to play Little League on a boys team? Boy, have the times changed. Moving forward. But yes, Lance, Quarterback Princess, very, very good. Good catch. Oh, Rachel says Toothpaste Millionaire. Is that what it was called? I haven't seen it in, crying out loud, 45 years. Crazy. And 257 says, Lance, hi. What is your favorite Secrets of ISIS episode? My family member saw Shazam in 1974. I loved both shows online. Chances that was not a typo. Gary Carpenter, how you doing, brother? And he says, hi there, everyone. I'm back. And I just heard that General Zod died. Yes, we've been discussing the matter at some length. Rest in peace, Mr. Stamp. And I think I'm caught up. Quarterback Princess was a true story, Thrash. It was? I didn't know it. Like I said, I read the book in 5th grade. I did not know. What do you mean it'll be right back? But I didn't know it was a true story. Oh, drat. Oh, here we are. Rachel says, I enjoy watching them on YouTube. Zerblick says, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. I love Priscilla, the Queen of the Desert, too. Oh, no, I'm thinking of Perils of Gwendolyn. I love Perils of Gwendolyn. Tawny Katane, I believe. But anyway, enough of that. Quarterback Principle, the true story. Gary Carpenter says, now there are only 2 villains from Krypton left. And he says, what's the category tonight, Bob? Hee-haw! So everyone cheat off M. And Gary Carpenter says, message retracted. And Zuplex says, yes, only 257, and it's the trivia for tonight. And if I missed anybody's comments, I apologize. Snarksass is here. It says, Boopy, Snarksass. Boopy to you, too. Dumdo says, MeTV brought back Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. It's on Sunday morning. I did not know that. That's Axel 257 says, Pawns, RIP, Superman, 1978 villain. Yes, indeed. Yes, Gary, there's only 2 villains left from Krypton. Gary Cameron says, Pod Blast, that was Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. And Cindy says, I love that show, John Doe. And Keithy says, Marlon says Jimmy Fowler gets near the snake. And Indy says, 2-5 hee-haw. I have seen clips, but not of full episodes. This one might not be a particularly effective one, so maybe we should play for fun. Snark says, yeehaw, tee-haw. Emily says, no pressure, I guess. Yeah, everyone's going to copy off you. And maybe probably Snark says, it looks like, too. Zubli says, hello, Snark. And Rachel says to Cindy D, are you British? I only hear British people saying drink driving. I watch a lot of British shows. And I think I'm, Snarky Rose. Cindy says, where are you tonight? The Hee Haw song. You met another. And anyway, 207 says, follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow. 257 says, we're off to see the wizard or the lizard or the lizard king. John Doe says, I don't remember Hee Haw. You don't remember Hee Haw? That's a pity. Ellen says, saw the 2. Uh-oh. Is my battery dying? Oh, crap. Oh, no. Okay, everybody think positively. Oh. Drat. You're not thinking positively enough. Tiny bubbles. There we go. I plugged it into the wall. I didn't plug it into my computer, and I was really afraid that a spark was going to jump in and fry my equipment. But we'll find out in a second if my computer dies. Chances saw the 225 Superman. Not bad. It has heart. And he says, Bob is Bob freezing for anyone else? Am I freezing? Have I frozen? Am I frizzed? I think my computer was dying, but I think I've actually got it plugged back in now. Oh, yeah. It was a typo, Cindy. Gary says, I've seen them several times. Zublik says, yes, indeed, at my end. Zublik says, fingers crossed. Snark says, boobies to everybody but Super. Gary says, Indy, no, not freezing, but buffering. City says, no, Superman 1978 2025 remake. And I'm pretty much caught up. You know what? I'm going to start the trivia because if I'm starting to freeze up and have technical problems. So, guys, if I miss anyone's comments, I apologize. But let's get to the trivia while we still can. The topic, of course, is Hee Haw. And as always, I shall read them in no particular order. And I did that literally because I forgot to number them. So I did it on the fly before we started. So if I do one of those questions where I say, and speaking of blah, 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 and I haven't spoken about them yet, it's because I didn't number them. But anyway, let's start, as always, number 10. Hee Haw's first guest star was whom? Was it A, and I got questions you can pretty much guess if you have to. A, Conway Twitty. B, Boxcar Willie. C, Loretta Lynn. Or D, Tammy Wynette. And I shall repeat. Hee Haw's first guest star was whom? Was it A, Conway Twitty? B, Boxcar Willie? C, Loretta Lynn? Or D, Tammy Wynette? Lots of buffering. I'm sorry, brother. Let's see. I'm going to give it a second now. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of guessing on this one. I must confess. Gary says, Non and Ursula are the only ones left. Yes, indeed they are. Cindy, you need Excedrin because of the buffering. That one's good. Ooh, there's a nice breeze blowing through here finally. Ooh. It's all kind of gunky. And gonna give another minute because still some people are commenting. And the correct answer is, pardon me. My glasses are starting to fog up because I'm sweating. Yeah, that didn't help at all, but it's the placebo Domingo effect. Emily says we use goody powers here in the South. Oh, just Galileo, Galileo, Figaro, Figaro, Figaro. The correct answer is, of course, C, Loretta Lynn. Number 9. Buck Owens' in-house band was called A, Roy's Boys, B, the Buckaroos, C, the Cloggers, or D, Dino Vitrola. I don't even know what that is. D for Dino Vitrola. Oh, Dinosaur Vitrola. And I hope someone gets the reference. But let me repeat. Buck Owens' in-house band was called what? Was it A, Roy's Boys, B, the Buckaroos, C, the Cloggers, or D, Dinosaur Vitrola? And I know someone's eventually is gonna be like, oh. If not, I will explain that one at the end of the contest. And apparently everyone knew this one, except for a couple of people answered ironically. Yes, it was the Buckaroos. Buck Owens' band was called the Buckaroos, and reminded me to explain the pun at the end. Number 8. This series regular was known for wearing auditions. The audition. I'll come in again. This series regular was known for wearing audacious ladies' hats. Some people are going to answer even before I finish the question on this one. Was it A, Roy Clark, B, Barbie Benton, C, Ronnie Stoneman, or D, Minnie Pearl? I shall repeat. This series regular was known for wearing audacious ladies' hats. Was it A, Roy Clark, B, Barbie Benton, C, Ronnie Stoneman, or D, Minnie Pearl? Give you guys another second on that one. And yes, some people are already, I can feel them singing Punk Rock Girl. Oh, I got mail. This is incredibly gauche, but it might be important. Oh, it's my cousin who I have expected to be in tonight. We're going to try to have dinner before the summer's over. Well, with each other. No, I mean, we're going to have dinners all the time, nightly even. But he lives up in Plymouth. Anywho, the correct answer is D, Minnie Pearl. Remember, she always wore those really, really big hats that had the price tag that came down the side. You know, in Punk Rock Girl, it's like, let's have a child. We'll name her Minnie Pearl. Just you and me. Banana swirl. Just you and me. Let's drive around the world. Punk Rock Girl. Anyway, number 7. This actor, known for the Andy Griffith Show, made many appearances during the show's run. Was it A, Andy Griffith, B, Jim Nabors, C, George Lindsay, or D, Don Knotts? I will repeat. This actor, known primarily for the Andy Griffith Show, made several appearances during the show's run. Was it A, Andy Griffith, B, Jim Nabors, C, George Lindsay, or D, Don Knotts? Give me just a second. It seems everyone's doing really good. So, by the way, apparently. So, oh, Crow Minion's here. Says tough. I'll say C. And welcome to the show, Crow. If you came in earlier, I apologize. When I'm doing the trivia, I don't keep quite as much vigilance as I should. Oh, and yes, Nark, you are right. But this guy made like many appearances, and I'm just going to give it out now. It was actually George Lindsay. But yes, I believe all of them appear on the show at one point or another. But George Lindsay was considered almost a series regular. So yeah, that was the. And it's funny too because prior to Gomer Pyle and the Andy Griffith Show, he was in like Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. He did a lot of other stuff, just not as a regular. So it was so funny because on the Andy Griffith Show, he played a goober, literally, not figuratively. But he usually played like a tough guy. And on Law and Order, he played this shrewd Southern attorney type. It was really cool. He had great range. I just remember back in the late 70s, he was doing the commercials for those. They were like skillets, but they were like broiler pans, and the idea was it would burn off the grease so they'd be better for you, not realizing that did virtually nothing for the caloric intent. I suppose eating grease isn't good for you either, but as far as the content. And Jim Nabors actually really could sing. He was actually an amazing singer. Yes, Orchard. Anyway, number 6, and then we'll get scores. Halfway scores. Number 6. This cast member had a recurring bit keeping. I'll come in again. This cast member had a recurring bit keeping us on top of contemporary Southern cuisine. Was it A, Archie Campbell, B, Grandpa Jones, C, Junior Samples, or D, David Stringbean Ackman? Ackman. I'm sorry, Ackman. Not Ackerman. Although he may pronounce it Ackman, but anyway, I shall repeat. This cast member had a recurring bit keeping us on top of contemporary Southern cuisine. Was it A, Archie Campbell, B, Grandpa Jones, C, Junior Samples, or D, David Stringbean Ackerman? And Gary says LC, yes, he was, and he did a couple of Disney movies. Yeah, he was on MASH. Yes, he was on MASH. Now that you mention it. No clue. It's actually I remember I used to watch Hee Haw with my uncles when I was a kid. Brian's uncles too. And the whole shtick was like, "Hey, Grandpa, what's for dinner?" And I just gave the answer away. So the answer, of course, is B, Grandpa Jones. And he would come on. It was usually in rhyme, but he would come up with this incredibly cliche, something out of Beverly Hillbillies recipe for a stew or something. And also let's see, people are giving scores. So yes, the answer is B, and Zuplex is 2 out of 5. Emily is 5 out of 5. Crow is LOL. More like SOL. Crow's 2 out of 3. I guess he missed a couple, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So don't be sad, because let's see. Gary says, "Wedge, it's great to just guessing." Keithy says 4 out of 5. I'll go to hell from here. Oh, mind blown. 5 out of 5. Rachel, excellent. Snark says, "I'm not keeping score." Penny a point, ain't no one keeping score. Pass the paper bag that holds the bottle. Oh God, I'm gonna be singing that song in my head all night now. Oh dear God, what have I done? What have I done? Night time on the city of New Orleans. I'm sorry, I love that. When I was a kid, I was like obsessed with that song. That sounded even sadder when I said it out loud. Gary is 4. Oh, he's actually 4 out of 5. Tracy is 1 out of 5. Thank you for playing. Oh, Kevin Scott is 0 for 1. I'm sorry. Teb is 4 out of 5. Gary is 4 out of 5. What you mean is 3 out of 3. I missed the first two questions. I was away. No worries, no worries. You can catch up. Watch them on replay and then alter your score if you care. Cindy is 3 for 5. A lot of people saying hello to one another. Elizabeth says Godzilla needs a new Picard. You know, you are absolutely so right. You know, this actually was going to be a stick. A shtick. A shtick. So what do you want from me? A shtick? This was going to be a shtick where every week Godzilla would have a different card. So thank you for reminding me. You know what? Next week Godzilla's going to have a different card, and he will have a different card every day for the rest of my existence. This I've committed to. Sad what I commit to these days. Let's see what else we could go on here. Johnny's 4 for 5. Snatch is the Gardon hoot. Thank you. And Gary says Goober did a couple of Disney movies, The Fox and the Hound and the Aristocats. And Snark says shtick, yes. So what do you want? I need a shtick. You want a shtick? You got a shtick. A shticksa. You're a shticksa. Can you say my sister, Krista, got a blister where you kissed her? That's how you say Wista, which is where I was born. Same neighborhood as Eddie Mecca and Dennis Leary. Moving forward, question 5. This character had a running used car bit. Was it A, Archie Campbell, B, Grandpa Jones, C, Junior Staples, or D, David Stringbead Ackerman? Emily says, Tracy, I always think of Charmed when I hear the power of 3. Lance says, where's the baked bean Alex from the UK and Bobby Renee lately? I haven't seen Baked Bean signed off. He said he couldn't do this for a while. Alex, I saw Alex on TikTok a while ago, but I haven't really seen him since. And Bobby Renee, I saw him a while ago. He actually came in and said, hey, the host with the most. And I thought he was back, but then I haven't seen him since. But I did see him, I think, 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And the answers are still coming in. Yeah, people, when in doubt, just copy Emily. Because you know what? She was right. Yes, Junior Samples. Yeah, he had that running used car bit, which became a cliche. He wasn't the first person to do it, but he kind of perfected it. And, you know, that became like a recurring bit on sketch comedy shows. I actually think the best used car bit, I think, was actually in the Twilight Zone, where the used car salesman who couldn't lie. I thought that was hysterical. Number 4, this actress was never a member of the Hee Haw Honeys. Was it A, Jane Leeves, B, Kathy Lee Gifford, C, Lulu Roman, I'll go no more Roman with you, dear, or D, Kathy Baker? I shall repeat. This actress was never a member of the Hee Haw Honeys. Was it A, Jane Leeves, B, Kathy Lee Gifford, C, Lulu Roman, or D, Kathy Baker? And you know what? Everybody give yourself that one, because I believe the correct answer is Jane Leeves. She was a Hills Angel. She was actually on the Benny Hill Show. Hi, Mrs. Thrash. She says hello. I believe it's Jane Leeves, but I circled Kathy Lee Gifford, and Kathy Lee Gifford was actually on the TV show, so that counts. So you know what? Everybody give yourself a point for that one. I botched it. Corey said, yes, Benny Hill. Yeah, she was like a kid too. I don't even think she was 20 years old. But yeah, it was British sketch comedy. It was piggish. But yeah, she was a Hills Angel when she was young. The only way to put it. She was older than me, but anyway. The irony being, of course, I've always had my suspicions that Benny Hill preferred the company of men. Can't prove it, but I just always had my suspicions. Anyone else who thinks so too, let me know in the comments below. And forgive me if that's I'm not trying to be slanderous, I'm just speculating. Anyway, everyone's saying hi to Mrs. Thresh, who's already gone. Anywho, so everyone, we're moving forward because everyone's getting a point for that one. Number 3. What series was the template for Hee Haw? This was a good one, actually. A. Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. B. The Martin Lewis Show. C. The Sonny and Cher Hour. Or D. Monty Python. I shall repeat. Number 3. What series was the template for Hee Haw? Rowan and Martin Laugh-In. The Martin Lewis Show. C. The Sonny and Cher Hour. Or D. Monty Python's Flying Circus. Emily says, sounds legit. That'd be a great name for a record store. Legit. It would. Oh my God. When I was in college, that was, if you wanted to say something was like, if you wanted to say like facts or too true, you'd go legit. Man, legit. Man, she is hot. Legit. Great party last night. Legit. I bombed that final. Legit. Gary says, Rachel, he was on Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and I can't stand his show. Sorry. Yes, he was in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. He was actually in a few movies. Wasn't he World War II veteran too? Didn't he like get drafted at like 17? But anyway, the correct answer is Rowan Martin's Laugh-In. They just wanted to do something a little more rural, but they wanted Rowan Martin's Laugh-In. Crow Minion, too legit to quit. That's probably where we culturally appropriated it from. Yeah, Anthony's just thinking like Crow. Yes, Cindy must admit there was a certain amount of appropriation there. Apologies. And Rachel says, yes, the toy maker, you seem to hate the British shows. Yeah, they borrowed that for the Bare Naked Ladies video. It's been 1 week. Yeah. But yeah, the toy maker sings, yes. John said Ian Fleming wrote Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild? Well, the funny thing is, the book is actually darker than the movie. In the book, it's not some weird Central European, almost comical power. It's gangsters, and they're actually kind of scary. But moving forward, number 2. The name of the classic hound on Hee Haw was A. Beauregard, B. Bascom, C. Bernard, or D. Belvedere. I shall repeat. The name of the classic hound dog on Hee Haw was A. Beauregard, B. Bascom, C. Bernard, or D. Belvedere. Oh, Belvedere, come here, boy. No, it's not Belvedere. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. And you know, Cindy, the thing about that song that it never seemed right Elvis would sing it. It just seems like, why is he singing to some guy about being a hound dog? Because the song was written by a woman who wrote it about her cheating husband. Yes, I guess he came home drunk at 2 in the morning and she told him to get out of Dodge. This is like 1938. And she couldn't sleep after she threw him out. So there was like a paper bag on the kitchen table and she just wrote it out as a poem. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, lying all the time. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. And it's, again, when you take it as a cuckolded wife, the song makes sense. When it's sung by some weird, hypersexualized white dude, it's a great song, but there's no relevance to it. Facts? Keith, he says, hey, because Roger was already a charity taken. Roger was actually my basset hound when I was a kid. And Belvedere, of course, is from. So that's why I didn't use. I used Roger on when it was a basset hound on the Dukes. Belvedere is actually from a Bugs Bunny cartoon. Charlie the dog, but a Warner Brothers cartoon. Bernard, Saint Bernard, and Bascom. There was a short story I read as a kid with a hound named Bascom. But Beauregard was the name of the dog. And the number one question for tonight is: both Mr. Clark and Mr. Owens collaborated on this variety show prior to Hee Haw. Was it A, the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour, B, the Jim Neighbors Hour, C, the Johnny Cash Show, or D, the Jimmy Dean Show? And then we'll get scores. And I shall repeat. Both Mr. Clark and Mr. Owens collaborated on this variety show prior to Hee Haw. Was it A, the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour, B, the Jim Neighbors Hour, C, the Johnny Cash Show, or D, the Jimmy Dean Show? They're all good guesses, by the way. Keith says, I believe both of them actually went to Juilliard School of Music in New York. I believe you're right. In fact, I believe. Where did I forget, but I believe you're right. Cindy says, yes, I agree, Thrash. I guess the Colonel thought it was appropriate for him. That says more about the Colonel. It was just Beauregard just sounds very Southern. Yes, it does sound very, very Beauregard. General Beauregard. Was that racist? Everything's racist these days. It's like, what? William Wilder, Billy Wilder, Stalag 17, where Larry Storch's brother is doing the part where he's imitating Hitler, and he says, everything is verboten. Everything is verboten. Everything is verboten. Gary says to Crow, his girlfriend Linda Thompson brought Mr. Presley on the show once for the first anniversary of Elvis Presley passing, and that was yesterday. And Cindy says he was racist. He was, yes, he definitely was. And Wadbean says, I will copy off Emily. I have no idea. C. And Tree says, I'm really not into country. So those questions I just guessed at like 2 and got 2 correct. This is when I know I couldn't get it. And let's just see. Oh, so anyway, how about some so the correct answer was Beauregard on that one, A. And how about some scores? Anyone? Oh, and while we're waiting for the scores, I'm dying here. Attica, she's laughing. Attica. I'm dying here. Anyway, In Out My Back Door by Creedence Clearwater Revival, which of course is about he was coming home from a tour and wanted to like drop a hit of acid and just sort of kick back, and found that his door was locked and he had to wait for someone to come home and let him in. So he was sitting on his back porch waiting for someone to come home to let him in, and was tripping daisies and was experiencing all these visions. And one of them was a dinosaur Vitrola. And when I was a kid, what I heard was Dinosaur Patrola. And like Rat Patrol, Dinosaur Patrol. And I became obsessed with the show Dinosaur Patrola, where you would ride around on dinosaurs in the desert fighting Nazis. And this stayed with me for years, Dinosaur Patrol. Even when I actually knew what he said. It's actually Dinosaur Vitrola. So it's like a guy playing like a xylophone on a dinosaur skeleton. Dinosaur Vitrola listening to Buck Owens. So Dinosaur Vitrola would be a good band name for Buck Owens. And boy, did I reach for that joke. You know, I really should be reading the scores that I demanded of you people. So it looks at the. Oh, Rachel says, I'm shocked. 10 out of 10. Crow lost track of his score. Call yourself 10 out of 10. Gary says, I'm the best thing in country music. Johnny is 8 for 10. Zublik says, what was the answer to question 1? Beauregard, A. Emily says, what was the answer to the last one? Beauregard, A. Cindy says, General Beauregard of the Civil War. Oh, okay. Yes, yeah. Belvedere, come here, boy. Tab is 8 for 10. Gary is 9 for 10. Zublik says, question 1, answer, please, for Christ's sake. Number 1. Oh, that's why I'm giving you guys the wrong the answer. D, Jimmy Dean. Come back to the 5 and dime, Jimmy Dean. Zublik, I'm so sorry. I lost count of my own game. Terribly sorry. So there. Persistence pays off. Yes. D. But of course, everyone well, give yourself credit. Tracy is 2 out of 10. Cindy D is a 5 for 10. I watch a show, but I wouldn't do well. I think you did fine. Gary says Cindy, only hee-haw borrowed the name. What being said, LOL, that was the dog. Emily says that wasn't the question, though. No, I was wrong, and I apologize. It's this humidity. It's frying my brain like a lobster in whatever it is they boil lobsters in. Crows, I guess that would make 5 out of 10. Maybe I'll give it to you. Zuplix is 6 out of 10. What do you mean a 7 out of 8? Emily says 9 out of 10. I think. Wow, I don't remember my answer. We'll call it 9 out of 10. I'm sure you got there. And Gary says, M, you and I will have to brush up on hee haw. And what do you mean says C, Emily. Yes, C under Emily. And Gary says, right now I'm bringing Reba. And Gary says, I happen to have them on my phone. And you know what, guys? That actually brings us to 8 o'clock. So I think we're going to kind of wrap things up here, by the way. Got a big day tomorrow, and I probably will wife it up with a few things before I crash tonight. So Keithy says, I said 4 of 5, and then I went to hell as I predicted. Tracy says, Nighters all. Emily says, Gary says, M, she was on there too. And a lot of people saying thanks to M for the answers. By the way, had a great time tonight. Next week, we will do What's Happening. Thank you for showing up. I will get some more content out. Don't know if I'll have it before the weekend, but I'll certainly try. Guys, I want to thank you. Zublik says, it's been great. How is the brother-in-law? He has to go in on a Labor Day weekend for a procedure. And we're just kind of, we're sending him positive vibes. But thank you for asking. I'll tell him my people were asking about him now. He might actually get a kick out of that. But anyway, I want to thank you guys. Cindy says no Missy Rowe questions. She actually came up a few times, but I don't know, for some reason I ended up not getting any Missy Rowe questions. Sorry. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. I had an absolute blast. I love doing these shows. They're kind of important to me now because now that I work Monday through Friday, these shows actually kind of put me in a good mood on a Sunday night. So I can kind of start the week with a positive note. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you so much for showing up tonight. Thank you for your support as always. Be good, be safe, be careful. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.